Hey, what's up, world? It's your boy G Shrimp, everybody favorite baby daddy, the voice of the street, man. And today we in Chicago with it, y'all. Well, I had this guy who had did an interview with me, y'all, and it didn't go so well. So we're here to do it over. So I got a special guest in the building. I'm gonna let him just take it away, y'all.
What's going on, YouTube? This is PNG Media News with another edition of the Concrete and Steel Chronicles. This is a special edition, a very special edition, because I'm doing a live collaboration with the G Shrimp show live from Chiraq, and we're going to be chopping it up about the origins of the Black Peace Stone Nation and just some good Chicago history that a lot of people have been asking me about.
Okay. Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm chilling, bro.
Man, glad to be making it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate you giving me this second go at this.
Okay. So you take it away, man.
All right, so, bro. So first of all, G Shrimp. Explain your name to the people.
Well, my nickname is just Shrimp, right?
Okay.
And then when I became part of the Blackstone, general is a style of rank you get. You know, that's a rank that you move up to. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's why they call me G Shrimp. They just put it with my nickname.
Okay, so you basically just General Shrimp, but they just shorten it up.
Right. They just say G Shrimp, but it's actually General Shrimp.
Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you a native Chicago. Tell us, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago.
All right.
Inglewood area. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And around what age did you get involved with the Stones?
Well, I say, I'm not gonna put it like that, but let's say about 16.
About 16?
16, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Because Inglewood, now was that a Stone neighborhood you came into, or you got in?
Actually, it wasn't. This neighborhood, like I'm from Inglewood, mm-hmm. It actually was all gangsters around here.
Okay.
And it was kind of ironic how we end up being part of the Stones is because my brother and them, I got two older brothers, right? Mm-hmm. And they had friends that went to CBS. Okay. So back then, we had the house music. Mm-hmm. And with the house music, they used to dress preppy.
Right.
So my brother and them wanted to be preppy. They had the socks, right? But we weren't from the street. We didn't know that preppy connected you to a certain gang. On the east side, all the Stones and them over east was preppy. Mm-hmm. So when we tried to bring it over here with the house music and the preppy, the gangsters identified us as Stones.
Okay.
And my brother and them started getting attacked at parties and shit. Mm-hmm. And we weren't never scary, so we would start catching them boys. Oh, that's the guy jumped on you at the party. We'll get back on them. And before you know it, they had labeled us rock boys. Okay. So when I first started moving around and when I first got to high school, we just went on and took it on. Since this was what they was calling us, and we end up retaliating under that name, this what we was.
Okay.
So when I got to high school, people like, what you is? I'm a rock boy. And they like, man, that's what they call us. What branch you in? And then we got identified with the Stones, started getting the literature and everything, and then it just went from there.
Okay, so you said a couple of terms there. So when you say gangsters, are you referring to the Gangster Disciples?
Yeah, GDs. Okay. GDs. Right.
And they called you all rock boys, and y'all called yourself Stones. Mm-hmm. Rock boys is kind of like a derogatory term.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. And then when you said the guy asked you what branch are you from, what did he mean by that?
He meant like what gang you in.
Okay.
Blackstone, Vice Lord, or we got different branches of gangs.
Okay.
So he wanted to know which part is you in, because I'm just saying I'm a rock boy. Because a rock boy could cover a Vice Lord and a Stone.
Okay.
It's just a derogatory statement that the folks would use against us.
Gotcha.
It just means hook to them. Okay. Also, hook is another term they use because the Vice Lords identify with the king, right?
Right.
And it's upside down, so they call it a hook.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the back, like you said Vice Lord, Stones. So tell us about Chicago. At least how I know it may be different now, but when you was coming up, how was Chicago divided? Like, was it like different nations, or how did people know what gang was which and stuff like? Break that down for us.
Oh well, the gangs identify basically by your colors.
Okay.
And it's always about the swag. Like even for now, right? Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, we had the earrings in 2 to the left. If you see, I got just one 5-point star in my head now, but it used to be 2 to the left. And you probably even see in the videos, I always got my head like this. Mm-hmm. So this represents something. Okay. So when you moving around the street, people can notice that. They like, man, that's one of them guys.
Okay.
And even with us, when it come to the folks, how we was identifying them, they wore bucks. Y'all remember them suede black bucks? They wore them. They had on Dobb had some of them, and then even with the clothes, do you remember the devil jeans? You had the pitchfork on them. People wore that stuff like that. How you wear the clothes you wear? You know, we identified each other like that.
Okay. All right. Now, when you talk about the Black P Stone Nation, now is it just one solid group, or is it like different branches of stones?
Yeah, well, it's a few different branches, but it's one. Let's say it's one solid group.
Okay.
But what separate us is the territories. Like for instance, us, we Brotherville, because that's our area where we at. That's this set that we started. Then we got Motown, we got Stone Terrace, we got Foster Park, we got Fintown, Terrortown. All these stones are together, but they in different areas.
All right.
You know, and we fall under one umbrella as the Black P Stone.
Okay, and you all generally get along with one another?
Yeah, I mean, you have the problems. It's just like regular, but we mostly get along. But that's where the generals come in at.
Okay.
You feel me? Like, if one of my little guys goes somewhere and he get into it with somebody from Motown, we ain't just go attack them like they oppositions. We go make a phone call. Hey, they go call me, hey, G Shrimp, one of your little guys disrespect one of the guys down here. And if I feel my guy out of order, we go out and handle that. He might get a violation. Or, you know, if they got out of order, he'll get a violation.
Okay. All right. So let's take it back. How did all this stuff start? Because I've heard different stories. There was the Blackstone Raiders, then became the Blackstone Rangers. I heard that it was a softball team at first. But from your knowledge, how did this whole nation come about?
Well, it goes way back, man. You know, I was looking at some of that. It goes way back. I can't even put a date on it, but I know one thing. It comes from the Woodlawn area. It's a street called Blackstone over there. Okay. And that was the area they ran in, and they just took the name. And they were a group of guys that ran together. You had Eugene Bull. He was the actually chief. That was the first chief. And then Chief Malik was his little soldier. He was second in command. I read up on some of that. Eugene, that's Bull. He was the president. And Chief Malik, which is Jeff Ford, he was the vice president. Okay. So that's like a big stone and a little stone. But you know how that go, man. The little stone ended up getting more popular and more powerful, and he ended up becoming the chief. You know, when Bull was assassinated, you know, they don't know who did it. You know, you have some rumors that they think Chief Malik did the same way with the what we was talking about, the Mickey Caldwell situation. They was rumored that Chief had him killed. And when I said Chief, I mean Jeff Ford, you know, but that's allegedly, y'all. And, you know, it's just a rumor. And, you know, that's kind of how it was with Jeff Ford. It was kind of like, you get down or lay down. If you roll with me, we gonna roll over you. And that's kind of how it was. Okay.
Now, at one time I remember hearing something called the Main 21. What was that?
The Main 21 is, like I was saying, it's a group of guys that Chief Malik put together. That's Jeff Ford. Jeff Ford, what he did, see, he was good at recruiting. What he did is went to all the neighborhood and got the leaders out of all their little neighborhoods. So you end up with, we had a few gangsters, we had Mickey Caldwell, and quite a few other guys. I'm going to just use him since he's the popular, right? Let's say we had Mickey Caldwell's. I looked at Mickey Caldwell. They named the MCs was originally the Egyptian stone. It's not a stone, Egyptian cobras, right? And when he joined the Main 21 and come on the chief, he changed the name to to MC Cobra Stones, right? And that's why when he ended up getting killed, and they heard the insinuations, allegedly, that he was knocked off by Malik. They took the stone out their name.
Okay, this became Mickey Cobra.
Yup. That's why they did that.
Okay. Now, at one time, I heard as time go on, like after Jeff Ford went to prison and came back out, he abolished the Main 21 and came up with El Rukin. Now, go into a little bit of that history.
Yeah, and see, that actually was before that. I'm glad you brought it up. Okay. He went to jail and he came out and he wanted to take away the stones and come up with El Rukins, right? Okay. That's the different him and, you know what I mean, Mickey Caldwell had. Now see, I read up on that too. See, Mickey Caldwell was a dope boy. And that's probably why Chief cuffed him, because he had an Italian connect. He was getting good money, and he was big. He had his own little gang, so Chief wanted to cuff him. But when Chief come home and wanted to use the El Rookin, Mickey like, man, I don't want to do that. And he said it openly and probably, you know, he was bold with it. Man, fuck that. I'm not changing my name. We ain't finna come no El Rookers. We already in the flip once. Became Stone. Now you gonna change it, you know. So he probably feel like every time you want to change something, you ain't gonna be able to just change it.
Right.
And he didn't want to ride with it, and that was kind of dangerous. He probably didn't know this might happen to him. And a lot of people rolled with it. It was few people who didn't want to do it, but for the most part, everybody rolled with it, right? And then I think Chief changed that name. Also, he was trying to get the heat off him because the police had started fucking with him a little bit.
Okay.
And they had, I'm not sure if when they got that money, was it before the El Rookins or after? I would think the money came first because they were still in Woodlawn.
Okay.
And then I guess after he lost the money and he probably was heading for another grant. He changed it to a religion.
Right.
He probably thought the police will think we in the gang no more, we're a religion. That's when they bought the fort down there and started holding the service. And that's where our symbol come from too, the 5-point star with the crescent moon.
Okay.
You know, all that's connected to the Muslim side of the thing.
All right. And now where did the Moorish Science Temple come into that? Because
that's another part of like the El Rookins, but the Stones always rotated with some type of religion.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, I won't say it comes from a jail thing, but it kind of is, because they use things like that in jail for to move around. So you got to have some type of religion. So whether you're Christian or Moorish Science Temple of America, however you're drawn, they want to be under some religion because it gets them to be able to communicate. Okay. There's one thing the jails can't do. They cannot stop your religion. So if it's 5 or 6 of us and we say we're Moorish Science Temple of America, they got to let us worship.
Okay.
So that means they go give us a room and we get to meet once a week and get together. So if we get everybody from a unit to come here, we can control shit and find out what's going on in all these units. Because that's one thing the police do not interfere in jail, is the church services. They don't even be in the room.
Okay.
I'm talking about the church services, probably some of the dangerous things you can have going on, because everybody there, they getting problem solved. Hey, we need to talk to you, we need to talk to you, and you know, it just be like that. Okay. It's basically a big gang meeting in the church is what it is.
Gotcha. Okay, so getting back to the El Rookins, like you mentioned the fort, now I remember that place. You know, but it was on 39th Street, and that's Disciple territory. And you all Stones, you know, El Rookins, how did that, was there ever any problems or?
No. I guess, you know, Chief ain't carried a lot of weight. You know, and then they know the Stones wasn't no pushover. So I ain't gonna say they were scared, they didn't want no problem. So they gave them respect, and he gave them the respect back. He allowed them to come to the party. So we used to have parties every Friday and Saturday. And I was younger at the time. I used to wonder, why is all these folks in the party? I felt like it should be our party.
Right.
And they let them come party, but I didn't realize back then, shit, this they neighborhood. So that's the least we could do, let them come to the party.
Right.
You feel me?
Okay.
So they used to be in there, and there was never no disrespect and none of that. They would be in there. They had their hats to the right and everything. Because I come in there first couple times I went in there, I wanted to start shit. I'm like, man, straighten up your hat. And you know, one of the OGs had to put me to the side. No, brother, they cool. Okay. I'm like, no, they ain't cool. And they like, yes, they is. And you know, they had to get down on him and let me know, no, they cool.
Okay. Okay. All right. So after they did that big raid where they raided the fort, sent Jeff off to federal prison, was that the end of the El Rookin? Did everybody come back Stone in, or what happened? What was the aftermath of that? Yeah,
that kind of was the end. People knew it was hot, and that kind of was the end of it. I won't say the end of it, but the people on the street, they realized it. And not to mention, they locked a lot of them up. Yeah, a lot of them went to jail. So they was in jail for a nice little while. So most of them was in jail. You probably had a few of them still on the street, but they probably just laid low and got out the way. Because we didn't know how serious it was going to be. Because they used to raid it all the time. They used to raid it on Friday, and we'll still have a party that Friday night. But this particular time, when they raided it, and we waiting on the police to leave. We come down there the first day, the second day, they still down there. I'll never forget. It's a guy sitting in front of the door on a stool, had a shotgun and an FBI jacket on.
Damn.
And that let us know right there, this is it right here, man. This is it.
Okay. Now I want to switch up a little bit and talk about the prison system. Now in Illinois, how does the prison system work? You go in, is it divided up by race, or is it divided up by your gang affiliation?
Well, it's a little of both.
Okay.
You know, like the minimum facilities, the minimum joints, they divided up by gangs.
Okay.
Now, we got 2 max joints that's divided up by race. Like, for instance, Menard and Pontiac.
Okay.
What that means is you got these Aryan nations, right? And the Aryan nations is so strong and they rough in jail that the blacks can't fight with each other with this small gang. They need all their power to fight these white boys. Okay. So they put that shit to the side and they stick together in there.
Okay.
Right. And it's basically just a race war. It's a race ride in that, you know. Okay. So with the same type of disrespect and respect, we ain't letting them get away with nothing. Okay. You know, they be on their ass. And they even go harder because you can't even let one of them white boys say, get out the way, nigga. If he say anything to you disrespectful, you got to mash on him right there. Because you get him an inch, they'll take him out. Okay. And that's how they explain it to you when you get down there. Hey, man, if you feel like you disrespected by one of them white boys, I want you to slap this shit out of them up. Do what you do. Okay. And they got your back. All the blacks do.
And how did this stuff go down? Was it like an ongoing thing, or was it just kind of like isolated?
Well, it depends on when something go down. Okay. It's always something, you know. For most parts, when you're dealing with jails and they got drugs and shit going on, they try to keep it low key if they can. Okay. But it's so much shady shit going on too, because people ain't stopped stealing because they went to jail now. Right. You feel me? And they ain't stopped doing crooked shit because they went to jail. So they watch a white boy, he go up there, man, she bringing him weed. Now he might be a weaker one that they can intimidate. So they might catch him coming out the visiting room. He might be by himself. Somebody else might be on a visit. Hey, nigga, give me that shit. Give it here right now. And they'll take it. And then when he go back, he might tell them, man, they robbed me. Who robbed you? Some of the guys. Now they got to come back, and that's the situation. And they might take a whole week to resolve that, or maybe even a month, because once the fight starts, they gonna go on lockdown. Right. You know. Okay. And then they want to try to keep it down when it's drugs flowing through, because when the fighting shit starts, that bring the shakedown. And when they shake down, they go find everything y'all got. Right. All the drugs and all that. So sometimes it's like give and take. If somebody get robbed, they might ask for it back to keep from going down, or they might be like, all right, well, we ain't even finna send it up, but we go get our lick back. And they'll catch some of them guys, some of them tougher white boys might be going on visit, and they catch another black guy that ain't so tough. They might do him like that. Man, give me that shit. And then we can't say nothing because we like, damn. They be like, y'all owe us one. We ain't say nothing when y'all robbed the white boy. Okay. So it's kind of like that.
Okay. And then, like you said, when it's the minimum joint, you said it's by gang. So how does that work? Like, for example, if you a general, you get locked up, I'm a general, and I'm locked up, how does it determine that who's going to be the big top dog, the shot caller, so to speak?
Well, basically, it goes by seniority, right? Okay. So if I'm a general, let's say you can be a general. You've been a general 5 years. I've been a general 10 years. Okay. So I might call the shots because I have the more experience. But we both can lay back and call the shots together. Okay. And normally what we do in them situations is a lot of times the general don't have to run the joint. Because what we do, we get to the joints and we be the guests. We be like the overseers. So when we get there, me and you might get together, me and you generals, and we going to be watching them all. And we going to be like, hey, that little guy right there, I like him. He's sharp. He stand on law. He know his business. I think we go fuck with him. And we might run down on him. Hey, little nigga, we go give you the joint. You know, you got 103 people, because that's how they did me. We go, it's 103 people down here. You in charge of all 100 of these people. You only got to report to us 2 generals. 3 generals we had, and they did that so they could stay out the way. They really playing puppet master, you know.
Okay.
They find them a little puppet, let them run the jail. You feel me? Right. So my first bit, I come through there, they give me the joint, and before I left, they blessed me as the general. Because I had the juice from the street already, and my own mob. So when I got out there, then I knew all my literature and shit. They like, this little brother here sharp, plus he got a head on his shoulder. So they gave me the joint. That's like learning experience. You get your learning experience, and then they bless you, and then they go from there. But it's never a conflict when the 2 generals meet. You know what I mean? Because if you the G, I'm the G, we have both done been through it. So we'll sit down and talk, and we go demonstrate, because the generals click with each other. We don't really hang out with soldiers like that. They might be on security, so me and you will click because you a general too. Right. And if I got a problem, I might demonstrate, but I'm going to get your advice. Hey, G, what you think? So you wouldn't make a move without me. I wouldn't make a move without you. Because we'll be like, you know what, I'm going to holler at the G and see what he say. And you'll be like, I might say, you think he wrong, G? Yeah, I agree with you, G, he wrong. All right. And they go from there. Okay, all right. And then also, second question about prison dynamics. Do you know how under the People Nation or the 5-Point Nation, you get stones, vice lords, and stuff like that? So when y'all all there together, do y'all separate, like at the lower level, or is it just one person for the 5-Point calling for the whole 5-Point Nation? No, say it again. What? Okay, like say for example, if you know, say it's 50 vice lords in the joint, 50 stones in the joint, and it's like you can say one of the lower levels. Do y'all rock it under the 5-Point Nation, or do y'all just have your own separate leaders? Oh yeah, we have our own leaders. Like we all stones, we got our own leader. Whoever the general is run the stones. And vice lords got their own leader. Whoever the leader, they got what they call elites. Then they might have an elite run their shit. But when it's a problem, because we might be sitting at the same tables and stuff, when it's a problem, the elite get up with the general, and we go always discuss it. Hey man, one of your little brothers disrespected one of my guys. And we always solve the problem. Sometimes you can't stop them from fighting, because it's going to be a fight. It goes down so quick. But we always go come to the table after the fact, you know, and we go talk it out. All right. And then, and is that the same, like say for example, if the vice lords are having problems with the disciples in prison, do y'all automatically back each other up? Yeah, basically. Basically, unless it was a problem with us before it happened. But we naturally go ride with them most of the time. We go ride with them. All right. I mean, but things done changed now, man. The vice lords and stones ain't friends like they used to be. You know, over the years, things done kind of separated them. Like when I was in the joint all the time, the vice lords, these was our guys. We rolled with them. Nowadays, fast forward to what's going on now, the vice lords and the stones, they damn near deadly enemies. You know, they shooting at each other and all kind of shit. You know. All right. Then another question. Now I know the Latin Kings, they ride under the 5, or at least they used to. Like back when we were growing up. Now how did you all interact with them inside the joint? Were they considered allies? You said Latin Kings? Yeah, or did they just stick with their race? No, well the Latin Kings, when it comes to Stone, the Latin Kings was like our cousin. You know, I don't know where they come from. Therefore, hooked that up. Something he had alliance with them somehow. They was like considered our first cousins. Now, funny about them, they good in jail. They hold you down, help you with things. Y'all good, but they don't operate like that on the street. They ain't as friendly with the stones as they is in jail. In jail, they more friendly and they want to fuck with you because they mostly outnumbered a lot too. So they need us more in there. Now, some area, depending on the joint you're in, they might be a few of them, but most time on the deck is always maybe 1, 2, 3 kings. I ain't never seen more than 5 of them. You know, if it's more than 5, they damn near deep. So they govern themselves, but they go roll with the stones. Okay, gotcha. All right, so I want to fast forward back to today. Like, what do you see as the problem today? Because you know how back when we was growing up, you know, like I said, stones with stones, GDs with GDs. But now you may say stones, they may have 5 like. It's like cricks and crews and cliques and streets. Where did the things start to fall apart? Where there's so much chaos now? With the cliques? Yeah, because you know, it's like I don't even hear people saying gangs anymore. They just be talking about their street or their particular hood. Yeah. Well, that's just how big the hoods are getting on their own. You know, like even it happens even over here. Like when I was growing up, right? This neighborhood, this is Brotherville, right? And we rode with a little set called Rock Island out here. There's a group of vice lords, and we were young sets. We came up together. If they had a problem, we aid and assisted them. If we had a problem, they aid and assisted us, right? But through the years, as we got bigger and bigger, our little soldiers, they got so strong, they didn't need each other. They stopped aiding and assisting each other. So when they were running to each other, they getting into it like any other, you know, neighborhood. And they made it a problem until shit happens. That's what's happening with these guys now. The neighborhoods are getting too big. Like, for example, you hear all the time about O Block and St. Lawrence. You know, I've been knowing them blocks forever. And them sets wasn't that strong like that. I mean, and they ain't, I won't say they ain't strong, but they just regular sets. They're just getting so much attention and they're getting so popular. People make it bigger than you know, think. You know, I done been over there plenty of times, roll out through O Block, and you know, it ain't that bad like people want to make it. It's just people ain't from the city. They don't know.
Right.
And then another thing I want to say, I always say this, man, you guys from Chicago, stop trying to make O Block a tourist attraction. It is not a tourist attraction, man. It's dangerous over there, you know, because they got their own enemies. People be wanting to go take a picture by the mural and all that shit, and you can fuck around and they sliding through one day and you can get hit.
Yeah. I know that's funny that you said that. You know, I got friends from out of town. Like, yeah, when I want to come visit, I want you to take me over there. Like it's a museum or something.
Yeah, it's not. You know, and they really be serious. They want to take a picture, and you know, but okay, and you at your own risk.
Right.
So what you need to do is listen to Lil Durk said. Lil Durk was on an interview, and he said Meek Mills told him, "Man, I want to go to your hood," and he like. Yeah, alright, but you at your own risk, bro. You know, shit, something can happen, nigga. And that's one thing you can't control. You can control your guys, have guns and be on point, but you can't control when the ops try to attack you. You know, and that's one thing bad that I don't like about these young boys. They be dropping their location and all that. Okay, yeah, you fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Because when you drop your location, you letting them know where you at. They might not be dumb enough to come today, but they can slide through tomorrow, the next day, or the next day. By then, you gonna be thinking they woofing, they ain't coming, pussy ass niggas, they ain't come through here. Alright, they'll flip through that when they get ready.
Right, exactly. Another thing I want to ask you about. Tell the people, explain to me exactly what is the bucket of blood and the history behind the bucket of blood. So I heard you mention that on one of your shows one time. Yeah,
a bucket of blood, it's a lounge, y'all. It's an old, I won't say folktale because it's a true story. The bucket of blood was a lounge that's on the west side, right? And the rumor is, allegedly, because I just heard it like y'all heard it, the rumor is it was a guy, he killed his wife, right? Cut her fucking head off. And he walked in the lounge, he had her head in the bag. And he sat there and he said, "Give me a drink." And he reached in his bowling bag and he put her head up there, boom, and get his bitch a drink too.
Wow.
And the bartender didn't panic, like, okay. Gave him 2 drinks. Him a drink and the headless bitch a drink too, right? Gave her a drink and the police came, they locked his ass up. But the owners of the lounge, when they cleaned it up and mopped it up, it was a bucket of blood in the mop water, you know. It was a bucket of blood. That's where that nickname come from.
All right. You remember the original name, the real name of the lounge?
You could Google it and they'll tell you. They'll tell you exactly. I don't remember. I did it for my story. It was in my stories. I had wrote the name down, but I don't remember it right off back like that.
All right. So we winding down for time. So I just want you to tell the people a little bit about what's G Shrimp into today. Like, what's your goals and things you trying to do today?
Well, basically, I got a lot going on, man. Yeah, you see, I'm doing this YouTube thing. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing this YouTube thing. I've been doing pretty good. Also, I got a podcast for y'all. I'm on Spotify and Anchor, and it's doing pretty good too. I got a little clothing line I'm getting off the ground. I had one that had went down, but I just found them putting it back up.
Okay.
You know, see, I needed a lot of help technically, man, with behind the scenes, and that's what took me so long to get up there, man. But I'm getting up there now, man. You feel me?
You got any images of the clothing line you can show the people, anything like that?
I just hit. Oh, damn! I hate I got that computer there. I probably can't pull it up right here. But no, I'd probably say no. If I was recording with this computer, I could.
Okay. What's the name of it? You can tell the people.
Yeah, the name of the clothing line you got to go to. They changed the name to Tees. It was T Springer. Now it's just Springer.
Okay.
And you just type in the G Shrimp Show.
Okay.
And it'll show you all the stuff that I made. Because everything is under shrimp. Well, shrimpers. They want you to name every piece of item. So I got stretch pants. I got all kind of stuff. I'm going to start putting it in the description so y'all can find it.
And then, how do they find your podcast?
The podcast is on Anchor and Spotify.
Okay, that's the G Shrimp podcast?
Yeah, the G Shrimp Show live from Chiraq.
Okay.
I'm also on Instagram. People can find me on Instagram. I got the G Shrimp Show on Instagram, and it's under Maurice Jewett, Juett. I left the E off on Instagram. On Facebook, it's just Maurice Jewett, and everything else is the G Shrimp Show. Okay, cool. So any closing last words you got for the people? Man, I'm just saying, I'm going to let you know, dig you later, man. It's your boy G Shrimp, everybody favorite dad, the voice of the street. I'm out. All right. Cool. Make sure we get out of here.